Okay, here's some takeaways that I wrote down regarding my journey with turning my life, well, saying yes to God and seeking my purpose. So this is some notes, some things that I've identified in the different stages of seeking why God created me and why I was put on this earth. Because I feel like we get to a point in life where the things that we're interested in and brings us joy and brings us comfort and gives us like sense of purpose and entitlement, whatever, it comes to being void and it's no longer fulfilling and it no longer fuels the life that we like. So we get to the part where it's like, okay, what else is there, right? And so here are some things that I wrote down that I remembered about my journey from the time that I said yes until now. So initially, when I told God yes, it was exciting. It was like, oh, yay, I finally get to go and live this beautiful life that He called me to have, because Jeremiah 29:11 tells us, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. Although that is true, you do have to go through some pruning, because in life we are conditioned, and conditioning is something that we experience from birth up until whatever age we yeah, up until whatever age. We learn things from external stimuli, and we learn things from or through experiences. They tell us and they mold us and they make us into who we are. So what happens is sometimes we can have this incorrect perspective, or sometimes we need to adjust our perspectives depending on the case. Everything is kind of like case by case. There are some things that should be black and white, and then some things you do have to think outside the box, or you have to use critical thinking, or you have to analyze it and take everything into account, right? So there is that pruning stage. So in the beginning, to to train your ear. This is I'm just gonna start with this. So the first stage is to train your ear. Train your ear. How do you train your ear? You have to do it sober. You cannot be under the influence of lust. You cannot be under the influence of alcohol or any other vice. You have to be sober. You can't be under the influence of other people's opinions. You kind of have to isolate. You do have to isolate, but it is for you to be able to hear. When everything is giving you its opinions or it's influenced by an altered state of mind, you're not hearing clearly. So you do have to be sober, and that means abstaining from sex, no alcohol, no smoking, no pill popping, no type of stimulation that is going to create a false or a or alter your judgment to some type of false perspective, right? So while you're going through this, you're going to be tested the most. Like, you're going to, like, what once you used to have to pay for, now it's going to come to you abundantly for free. All these opportunities to party and drink and smoke, and everybody wants to pay for you to do it, right? So it kind of looks like, oh, this is a sign for me to move forward with this and I'm able to drink now. No, you're being tested to see if you are ready to hear, if you are ready to train your ear to the divine, to the one who created you. So be mindful of that when you are starting off being sober, starting off with no external stimulation. Just be mindful of that. So um I kind of want to call that like training the ear. I'm gonna write that down. Training your ear. It does require you may have to walk away from friendships. You may have to walk away from family. You may have to say no. 9 times out of 10 you are going to have to do these things. I'm not going to say may. You will have to walk away, because even the ones that wish you well and the ones that are spiritual or are religious and have your best interest and pray for you, That's their way is not your way. What they were created to do is not what you were created to do. So you have to you are basically probably like an extension of what they've done. So also pay attention to their patterns and pay attention to what they do in the earth, because it may be similar where you'll be an extension of that, but you're not going to be the product of it, right? I think I said that right. If I didn't, I don't have a problem correcting myself, but you'll be an extension of it, but it'll be evolved. Like everything is a better version. Think about an iPhone. Think about how it gets updates. Everything gets updated and all of that. So that's the best analogy I have to explain that part. So, um, yeah, just keep that in mind. Um, I feel like it's time. I finally made it to a space where I feel like I can talk about it more and I can be of service to other people. Because a lot of people I'm seeing they're becoming celibate. They're abstaining from sex, and some of the younger people are trying to get closer to God. And I feel like the more we talk about it and get outside of like the religious part of it, and we just really start building community and getting out there and talking about God and how he wants to hear from us, I feel like we'll all be able to like come together collectively and be on one accord, instead of like divided, like the older, the younger, the mid age, like all of us can do great things in that sort. So yeah. All right, that's all I have, and I'll be back with the next phase. And really, I kind of want to talk more about this. I am pressed for time, so I want to leave you with that. So, if you are in that space where you are being sober, you are having to push away from family and friends so that way you can hear yourself. It's completely normal. You're not alone, and it's it's what's required of you, and it's necessary for the journey. All right. Take care.